I do think matters is money. And I think it's completely dependent on them continuing their co-sponsorship with HBO Max and this Chinese media company. And I would be very surprised if by the time we get to the end of this year, with everything that's going on in the States, if there is HBO Max is in the position to if it's solvent, if it's in the position to to become a partner. That's it. Yeah, it's critical failure. It doesn't matter. It's commercial failure. It doesn't matter. It's audience failure. It doesn't matter. Because if any of that did matter, it would have mattered already. Yeah.
Well, now you've mentioned China. I want to bring this in now because obviously, I mean, the fact is there are a lot of rumors out there, and as soon as there are rumors put out and they start to gather pace, people immediately sort of move to counteract them with what they believe that they know. And and one thing that we hear a lot from various sections of the fandom, particularly those who are really, really entrenched in and invested in the present era, and particularly because of the politics rather than the story, and can't seem to see past the fact that they've cast a female Doctor. We hear, oh, but what about China? What about HBO? You think, well, okay, well, what about them? I've gone right back to the source of all of this here. So I'm about to put it up on screen.
I still don't know what the deal is that they made with China. I'd love to see the details of that.
This is it. What I've got here is the article. So here we are. This is Doctor Who gets brand boost in China from back on the 25th of May, 2017. So this was before Jodie Whittaker was even cast. There was this published. Well, this is from the BBC Media Centre. This is literally from the horse's mouth. But there are several instances, several places you can go to read all this in plain English. But yeah, if you scroll down, because people have assumed because of this deal, the myth has become that because of the China deal, Doctor Who is safe until a potential series 15. But when you actually trace it back to the source, the nearly 4 years now I've been back and looked at this, that's not actually what they say. It says the deal not only covers showrunners Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat's series from 1 to 10, but also incoming Chris Chibnall's yet to film series 11, as well as a first look at series 12 to 15. A first look. Yeah. That's very, very important. Now, this is the BBC Media Centre. This isn't even BBC Entertainment. It's certainly not the Radio Times. There's nothing tabloidy about this. This is an official press release that will have been through the entire legal department of the BBC, checking every single word. But if we look at why China got involved with this, it wasn't because they thought the show was particularly good or particularly bad. It was a cultural thing. It says this marks the start of a longer and even more fruitful partnership with SMGP, which was... This is SMGP Pictures, which is based in China, I believe.
And don't forget, all corporations in China are effectively under the control of the Chinese Communist Party.
Well, it says here that China is going through, well, at the time in 2017, China is going through a time of tremendous growth and rapid market development. Everybody is curious about cultures from all around the world. At the same time, they want their share of Chinese culture and values. Nothing unreasonable with that. But Doctor Who, with its long television history and iconic place in popular culture, is a great representative of British popular culture, and we hope the partnership with BBC Worldwide, blah de blah, a fair exchange of ideas and growth of the universe of Doctor Who in China. So it's a brand-orientated thing. The important thing to me, I keep looking back at this. First look is not the same as bankrolling an additional 4 seasons of the show.
Yes,
so that's not a co-production deal. It's not a co-production deal. It's a brand, because what they got there is, as you say, Dan, and what we've just read, they got the first look. They can say no at any time to taking it. They've got Torchwood. They got the Sarah Jane Adventures. They got K9 and Company. They got all the spin-offs, as it were. They got these things, but that's it. And it look at Netflix. Netflix would have got a very similar thing to say, here's all the series. And they've eventually turned around and said in the UK, well, we don't want it now. Thank you very much. It's not a guarantee. It's not a co-production deal like it would have been with Canada or Australia or whatever. It's just, here's the episodes. Have it.
You'll get what you'll get. when and if we make it. That's what it says to me. It's no obligation to produce to fill the schedule. Their obligation remains to the license fee payer, to their own charter.
Absolutely.
And it's what people are watching in the UK. So I think that really takes the China
But how does that
completely off the table.
How is that deal with China different or similar to the one with HBO?
It's funny you should say that. if we take another look, I've also been and looked at the HBO deal, because obviously that's the first thing that people go to. What about China? And when you sort of introduce some grey areas there, because I think you can see and read that there are lots of grey areas. And the reason I've gone back to these articles is because I knew that if I summarised it in any way, people would say, Dan's reading into this. Dan's got it wrong. He wants to believe in all this. So, yeah, I've been back to the HBO deal. Now, this was a little harder to get back to the original article, but I have got it. So here we are.
Do you know, that Chinese deal actually reminds me of back of the original one with France. That BBC Enterprises put together between the BBC and France for Doctor Who. They did a brand thing as well. I remember somebody telling me about it. And eventually the French went, no, it didn't work.
And it's not a thing. It's not the thing like with the Space Channel in Canada, or it's not, and it's certainly not a BBC America co-production. This is just a deal to carry the show. If they make it, American shows get axed all the time and if they continue to want it, yes. So this is not concrete. But here we are. Let's trace back the HBO deal. So this is comiccon.com. It says the BBC's HBO Max deal yields 2 additional seasons of Doctor Who. Now, this is the article that went into circulation that everybody leapt on, including me. Right. And I took this as gospel truth. I mean, the people who are enjoying the present era, God bless you if you're enjoying the present era. We're pleased for you. That's not really what this is about. This isn't about opinion. This is now about us trying to get
Horlicks and lie down. Yeah,
trying to get the closest that we can to fact. So we'll trace these things back, and it says, "Well, the big news from HBO Max's Tuesday presentation is the Green Lantern series. There is a deal with the BBC and HBO Max to make 11 seasons of the revived Doctor Who show available at the launch, with an additional 3 seasons to come."
There you go.
And then it mentions this on Comic Con, but of course there's no actual quote there. And I've highlighted here, the marquee thing here is the confirmation that the BBC is committed to at least 2 more seasons of Doctor Who after 2020. So, I mean, I would argue we're going to find out that this may not be the case either. But when you look at that, think, okay, well, it's 2021 already. Nobody saw the pandemic. Nobody saw the pandemic coming.
Yes, that's changed everything.
This is about the passage of time, not necessarily the amount of content. This is about time periods. So they've lent into that and saw that as confirmation, and as confirmation that they're definitely going to be. And
all this ties in with
2 seasons.
All this ties in with what Chibnall said about his 5-year plan as well.
Yeah, but 5-year plans from somebody like Chris Chibnall, who happens to be the current custodian of a British television legend, can go down the tubes, as we know, because it's happened before. So a 5-year plan from whoever's running the thing has no merit whatsoever.
I think the HBO thing, I think the HBO and the money possibly drying up, because I watched Gary's stream, who was the guy who broke this sort of new circulation of cancellation possible rumor, and I don't know if this is what his source told him, but in that stream he said HBO are not paying beyond series 13.
Well, it certainly ties up, because when you trace this back, I did trace Comic Con, they linked back to this original announcement over on Deadline. So this is where I got to. I was the original source of the article. Yes, this is where it was broke on Deadline, and it pretty much takes us through what we already know: the 11 seasons of the sci-fi fan favourite, including the video on demand premiere of Series 11 as part of a deal. The streamer will be the exclusive video SVOD, that's video on demand, streaming video on demand, home for future seasons after they air on BBC America, specifically after they air on BBC America. So this HBO, it's nothing more than an eventual than an eventual resting place. The way that people that CW shows, they go to Netflix, don't they? And then I think they go on to HBO Max after that, after several years. But this is, again, there is not a word in this about an amount of content. So
you also have to bear in mind as well that Netflix had Doctor Who for a number of years, and that's the biggest by far service, right, from streaming service. HBO is tiny in comparison, so this is nothing huge. This is a massive step down.
No, this is all stuff.
They got a ton of money from it.
They will make the BBC studios will make money from any deal.
Let's just clarify that this was put out over 2 years. This is August the 1st, 2019. So 2 and a bit years after that China arrangement, that branding, that licensing arrangement. 2 years later, a whole different kettle of fish entirely for different reasons, for a different platform, different territory, for totally different reasons, a different commodity entirely from what I can see. So as far as I'm concerned, both HBO and China are nowhere in this equation. Am I being naive? What do you think, Ian?
Don't ask me, mate. I have no idea. All I do know is that this doesn't work. The whole show doesn't work, and it should be taken off. That's all I know.
The whole thing about this is there is an element here of history possibly repeating, because Doctor Who was still sold worldwide in 1989, even though it had been reduced to 14 25-minute episodes. It was massive for the BBC Enterprises, as BBC Studios was back then, and they were doing deals. John was flying himself and the cast all around the world, especially to America, to make it what it is today. That fan base was there. It was established due to their work in the late 80s and the 90s. Exactly. So it's nothing new. And the show came off then. And we have to remember, this is a BBC production. There is a license fee payers money. There are less license fee payers today than there were this time last year in the United Kingdom. And if the BBC say, we don't want to produce something, they don't produce it. And business deals have changed because of what happened with the pandemic. They are still changing on a daily. It's just a deal. There will be clauses there to say that any deal can end at any time from either side. Right. It's business.
Yeah,
well, I know people. I know.
That article we looked at, one of the other things they spoke about was
what is that picture all about? Should be a little black girl. What are you talking about? What's going on?
What's the Green Lantern series? Right? You remember that article? It just said they got Doctor Who and the Green Lantern series. Just because they said they got it doesn't mean it's going to happen. You're
right. You're absolutely right. Because I know friends that have big, huge articles in Variety and stuff like that. They're making this film, they're making that film, and in 5 years down the line, they've made nothing. So reports in those absolutely great magazines doesn't mean anything.
But that's the nature.
And the thing is, JT's absolutely spot on. Any contract like this any production deal that you enter into, should always have a get-out clause for both sides. That you're not necessarily committed to any. And if you're not, if the BBC haven't got some sort of get-out clause in that, and likewise, if HBO, China, whoever it is, haven't got a get-out clause from their side, then they've got the wrong solicitors. And I don't think that's going to be the case with the BBC. They will have the right solicitors on this.
So you're not seeing any obstacles to them taking the show off then, Simon. What do you think?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. There will be some. Who knows, because we haven't seen the contract, but my best guess would be that there will be some get out clause in there that would allow them to take the show off.